All right, welcome to Unnamed Podcast number 2. Still haven't named this thing yet, but it's coming. I'm really excited for my next guest, Gino Pilato, the owner of Amico Gino. Hey, Gino, how you doing, man?
I'm doing well, Jake. Looks good. You're looking good over there in your studio there. I like it.
Hey, I appreciate it. It's been a little overhaul of the home office, so thanks for
It's
the
sweet.
nod.
I like it.
Hey, well, I wanted to let's just dive right in. Why don't you tell folks about yourself and then how you started Amico Gino?
Yeah, the Cliff Notes version of that, because it could get a little bit of a long story, but real quick, I've been in the wine industry for, 13, 14 years now. And prior to that, I studied and was really interested in Italian language through the high school, university level. But then when I got in the wine business, I kind of put language aside and did it more as a hobby and things like that. And but always kept it in the back of my head and had a real fun time with it. Never really thought where it was going to go. Again, I was always in the wine business, and that was my driving thing. And so it got to one point one day where I was like, you know what? Let's try to combine the two. I was doing some little small language private lesson type deals and get-togethers, and I was kind of had this idea to merge the two, language and wine, come up with a class, kind of model it after those date night type of services, kind of paint and sip, whatever, and try to think if I can come up with something, a 2-hour deal where I can do it at the various accounts and people that I've met in Boise for wine, and so that was it. That was 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago now. And so just kind of started from the ground up, reached out to a friend who did graphic design, came up with a couple different logos, came up with a really bad website that I think I still use today. But then the social media stuff was really big and easy, actually, because, the whole thing was I wasn't starting anything that nobody, it wasn't like I was creating, yarn hats or something that people were like, what are you doing? It was a real natural thing. It's like, yeah, Gino does Italian, does wine. I mean, that's what people know about me. So it was actually pretty natural, and then, so we did a couple classes to start, and then it just kind of rolled from there. I did private parties, have done private parties. I've done a lot with it now, and it's really kind of morphed into some other things. Everything's Italian culture related. So Italian American culture related. That's always been the core of it. And from there, it goes all different directions.
Very nice, man.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about how COVID has impacted your business in the last 6 months.
Yeah, COVID was very, I didn't, probably like many, I didn't see it coming, obviously. I didn't realize actually the events and the things that I was doing revolved so much around tight groups of people and trying to get lots of people to come. So, obviously with this, the way the virus is, spreading and how we've gone about it, those are things that you want to avoid. So about March, April, when the lockdown happened, had to literally go into my calendar and delete this summer of all these different kind of wine events that I was going to do, private parties, bocce leagues, all sorts of stuff. And it really kind of made me realize that I need to look at this a little bit differently. And so that's when, like so many people, I kind of leaned on virtual stuff to start. So I did some virtual happy hours and classes and that kind of stuff, and still do a couple of those still today. But then really kind of shifted into bocce, and then the outdoor league that I was getting ready to run for a country club here called Plantation. The courts, I was kind of helping build these courts through consulting and meetings with them. It started about the winter, so December. And I met the developer at one of my PopUp Bocce events. So through Amico Gino, I do PopUp Bocce parties, essentially. And
no, stop for a second. PopUp Bocce. Talk about that for a second, because I've been at a brewery and it's super fun.
Yeah. So I have this portable bocce court, 30 feet long, 8 feet wide, And I was taking it around to like breweries and different kind of, again, people that I've met through the wine business or Amico Gino, whatever. And, just set it up and teach people to play bocce, invite people to come. Bocce ball's super fun, easy to learn. Any age, any ability can do it in about 10 minutes. I can teach people how to play. So it's really fun. It's kind of just an activity, a drinking game, whatever you want to use it as. And so I met the developer through one of those parties or the things I was doing, and he's like, hey, I'm involved in building these bocce courts at Plantation. We'd love to talk to you. So that's where it started, but that was in the wintertime. And then we get to spring and the courts are finished, like right when the lockdown is happening. And I'm like, they're like, okay, we want to run with leagues now. I'm like, what? I don't know, man. So, but we had to get creative, and we did. And so we set up, small. It started out like reservation only, 2 versus 2, had to be, living with each other in the house, gloves, masks, the whole thing. And then as we've kind of, grown and figured out things, we've been able to run 2 different leagues. We just finished our last one for the summer, and now got a fall one on the books, and going to run a big bocce tournament here in September. It's just a really great venue for it, especially for COVID, because it's huge. The courts are 90 feet long. It's outdoors. There's plenty of space. People, wear masks and we sanitize and do the whole thing. And but it's been great because it's, the courts didn't even exist there before. Bocce was nothing to this country club, and now it's become a really big part of it. And I've been happy to be involved with it.
Yeah, that's really cool. So, bocce is a pretty new thing for Boise. I think that there's been an established league for a little while, but it's very niche, I think. But you're trying to get it out there to the general public. So maybe there's people who don't know what bocce actually is. So maybe talk a little bit about that for a second, and then how you've established some relationships in town in order to get it some visibility.
Yeah. So bocce, the real breaking it way down is it's sort of a lawn game, but it's also an Olympic. I mean, it's in the Special Olympics as a sport. It's kind of whatever you want it to be. You can play it in your backyard, or you can play court bocce, is what we're doing now at Plantation. So court bocce is like on designated, surfaces and length and width and official ball sizes. So it can get serious, and so that's what I'm kind of trying to do, is take the serious approach to bocce, like the official, the way you play and gameplay and all that, but then teach it and make it approachable for so many different types of people, because I think it can really bring people together. And I've just seen it over the years. And it does have a really root in culture, or its roots are in the Italian American culture, Italian culture itself. So there's, when you go to Italy in parks, there's courts. But I've been really fortunate, man. When I did the PopUp Bocce, I bought a court. I Googled portable bocce courts, pops up. I get connected with these people in Chicago called the American Bocce Company, and they run leagues with these portable courts, sort of like what I was doing, right when COVID hit, at different bars and places like that. And so they even kind of brought me in over there and showed me how to do it, what they were doing, elements that make it fun and unique. And so I took a lot of that and was packaging it all up. I was really, again, going to get it running this summer, but it's still okay because I've taken a lot of that and just implemented it into what we're doing at the country club right now. And so that's that. But in Boise itself, yeah, it is a newer thing. I tell people that I want it to be Boise's top drinking game, because it's really easy to drink while you play. But also, it's been really fun. I mean, I see courts popping up now. There's courts downtown that they just built. There's like at Payette Brewing, they put in a court. The parks have a couple different courts. So I'm hoping that, with what I'm doing and then just people playing on their own, we can get bocce to be something pretty special in Boise.
That's pretty awesome. Hey, maybe the next thing is I've been following your social media, and you are eating in your van. Well, what are you doing in your van, Gino?
Yeah. So I mean, as you could probably guess now, when I have some pretty wild ideas and I just go with them. But I do a wine segment. Try to do it weekly through a bocce connection of mine. So there's a website called oddballsports.tv, and they broadcast bocce, all sorts of stuff, skee ball, crazy stuff. But they also do these kind of fun player segments. So I'm kind of the wine bocce guy. And so when COVID happened, we're all in lockdown. I have kids in the house, and I could never find like a peaceful spot to do a virtual thing. So I was like, well, screw it, I'll do it in my Volkswagen van again. So I started sitting in my van again, doing wine demos and whatever. It just became a thing. And so, yeah, now I have wine luncheons. I'll just go live on Instagram Live and be like, hey guys, I got some takeout here. Here's the wine I'm drinking, and let's talk. And I'm in the van, and it's been fun because I think it kind of takes the seriousness away from wine and all that kind of stuff. I mean, you see a guy sitting in his camper van talking about wine. It's pretty ridiculous, but it's been really fun. And it's kind of caught on, and we're going with that as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. I like how you're featuring kind of local Boise restaurants, talking a little bit about the food and wine relationship there as well. This has been pretty cool.
Yeah. That's been something that I've been trying to push, is to help these restaurants. And I have a lot of friends who are in the independent restaurant industry and circle here in Boise, and just figuring out ways to help just any small way I can to promote their to-go stuff. Because a lot of them are relying on that right now. And so, take picture, you show the video, a lot of them are getting good at it too. I mean, I will say, like, to-go style food has really grown and gotten better. The packaging's better, the quality's better, they're timing it better. So it's fun to show people, like, hey man, look at this. And I get to eat it too. So it's a win-win.
That's awesome. So like, just recapping this. So Amico Gino is your overarching brand, but you said Italian language, you're talking about wine, you're doing special events, boutique events, like kind of date night type things. Then you've got this bocce thing going as well. What else are you doing? Is there anything else that you're doing around Amico Gino that we should know about?
That's kind of it right now, really. A long-term goal of mine is to put together a tour group to go over to Italy with me. We got really close last year, but some things kind of fell through. And obviously right now travel is out of the question, but that's more of a long-term, a couple years down the road. Just using some of my winery contacts and getting people to come with me and have a fun time over there. But aside from that, yeah, just focusing on whatever. I mean, I like being able to have somebody come up to me and be like, hey, we want to have a wine party, or we want an Italian themed party, or I want to learn a couple phrases before I go to Italy, or teach me bocce ball, anything like that. I'm like, yeah, let's do it. We'll figure out a way to do it and have fun. And I've gotten really comfortable now, by doing this the last few years, I feel really comfortable just going into, because I have gone into people's homes that I have no idea, I've never met. And so here I am bringing this curriculum and party idea to them. They don't know me, but within the first 10 minutes, I got everybody all together laughing and enjoying themselves. So I feel good about where it's at right now, but certainly want to keep it going. And again, it's pretty easy, it's just an extension of what I like to do. So, I feel like it makes sense.
Yeah, that's something that I'm so particularly interested in, is that I don't want to call it the side hustle, but that's really, a lot of what it is having a thing that you just love, that's maybe adjacent to your day job, which I think in some cases, being, such a well-versed wine, I don't know what you would call what your role is, salesman, etc. Yeah. But just being around and gravitating toward those things that you're passionate about, and then finding all these different avenues to kind of put your fingers in and expose people to that vision, that dream, that culture that you like so much. What's been your favorite experience, or maybe your favorite thing about starting Amico Gino in the last 2 years?
Oh man, I haven't thought about that. Gosh, there's been a couple of different times where, I'll just go back to recently. I just, not to keep talking about this Bocce League stuff, but when I got involved with the country club, the league grew quickly. I was doing, in a brewery, I'd have 8 teams, sometimes just 2-person teams. At the country club, the interest was huge to start, and I had never done something that large before. So we just finished up a Monday, Tuesday night league. So I do Monday night, Tuesday night leagues, 14 teams of 4 people. And then we did a tournament at the end. And so really and it was pretty cool actually. One of the nights, all the teams signed a card for me saying thank you, because a lot of them have never played before. I'm teaching them on the fly, but just seeing it and organizing it and getting it all to actually work out okay, and not have because I'm scheduling games, I'm doing all these things that I haven't really done before. And so just the other night, reading that card of all the thank yous, and they got me some wine, of course, which is easy to drink for me. And but it was just like a sense of like, I actually got like because people are like, oh man, this must be a drag. Every Monday, Tuesday night you're out here. I'm like, you don't even know, man. It's probably more fun for me than for you guys. I'm not even playing. It's just, I get a rush from seeing something, like an idea, and then it's happening, and then when it finishes and it worked out, that's what it's all about for me, for
That's awesome. Hey, just real quick, as we're starting to wrap up here, coming up on time.
Yeah.
Where can people find you, one, on social media, and then events that you have coming up through calendar end of calendar year 20?
Cool. Yeah. So best way, the one I'm most on the most is Instagram. So at Amico Gino, AMICO Boy, BOI. That's for Boise. So at Amico Gino Boy for Instagram. And then if you just type that in Facebook too, that's kind of basically the website I use too. So I post everything there, upcoming events, snapshots of what I'm doing, and all that kind of stuff. And then you can do the Instagram live stuff in the van and whatever I'm doing, you'll find it there. Stuff through the end of the calendar. So got another fall league. We're going to bump it up to 16 teams a night over at the country club Monday, Tuesday coming up again. That's a 6-week league. And then I'm doing
Do you have to be a member of the country club to go out in that bocce league?
Part of the team has to, so that they can invite guests to. But if anybody's interested, just shoot me a message. And I'm also doing pop-up parties there. So like I'll reserve the courts for 10 people, 12 people, keep it kind of smaller numbers, but you don't have to be a member at all. I can bring whoever I want out there. So anybody interested in playing bocce right now in a safe way, they can just shoot me a message and come out there. They're the best courts in Boise by far. And so they've given me the green light to bring whoever I want out there. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. But then one more thing, September 12th is a huge day. I'm calling it Idaho's largest bocce ball tournament in Idaho's history. Maybe that's too long of a title, but we'll cut it down.
I like it.
But it's going to be an all-day bocce tournament starting at like 10 in the morning. We're going to go all the way till 9 p.m. And we're going to do all these different we're going to have a beer truck out there, music. It's going to be a party. So I'm really looking forward to that. Never done that before. It could bomb or it could go well. We'll see. And then
is that at Plantation as well?
That's at Plantation too. So if anybody wants to play in that, they can shoot me a message before September 12th. Aside from that, doing virtual stuff too. If anybody ever wants to have a virtual wine gathering, happy hour, whatever, game to do that, or something in the backyard where we can be outside, for far enough from me. I've done a couple of wine parties that way too. So really come at me with your idea, and then we'll figure it out.
That's awesome, Gino. Hey, well, I can tell you firsthand, I have been to your events. I've sought your consult on wine and food pairings many times, and have heard your passion for Italian language, and certainly played some pop-up bocce with you. As well. You put on high quality events. We certainly appreciate it. And thanks for carving out some time with me to be my second guest.
Yeah, thank you, Jake. No, and thanks for all your help, man. You've been able to when I've been thinking about hanging some things up every once in a while, you've been good for me to push me and keep going, man. That's what we gotta do.
All right, I appreciate that, Gino.
Cool.
All right, talk to you later.
All right, thanks, Jake.